This is 1 hour of facts about coffee in a soothing voice that studies have scientifically proven to put you to sleep faster because it makes you feel safer and more relaxed. Let's jump into it after you hit like and subscribe so you and others see these videos again. It really helps. Let me know what topic I should put you to sleep with next time. Alright, relax and take a deep breath. Ethiopian legend has it that coffee was discovered by a goat herder named Kaldi. He noticed that his goats became more energetic and lively after eating the red berries from a certain tree. Curious, Kaldi tried them himself and experienced a similar burst of energy. Excited by this discovery, he brought the berries to a local monastery. The monks created a drink from the berries and found that it kept them alert during long hours of prayer. This story, whether entirely true or not, highlights coffee's ancient roots and its potential connection to spiritual practices. In the 16th century, coffee was so highly prized in the Ottoman Empire that it became a fundamental part of marriage traditions. According to the culture at the time, a woman could legally divorce her husband if he failed to provide her with a daily quota of coffee. This reflects just how essential coffee was in daily life and social customs. Drinking coffee was not merely a casual choice. It was considered a basic right. This law underscores the profound level of importance coffee had in the lives and traditions of the people in the Ottoman Empire. The term cup of joe is an American slang for a cup of coffee and has an interesting origin story. One popular theory suggests that it derives from Josephus Daniels, who was the Secretary of the Navy in the early 20th century. In 1914, Daniels banned alcohol on naval ships, which left coffee as the strongest available option. Sailors, disappointed by the lack of alcohol, began referring to their coffee as a cup of joe in a sort of begrudging tribute to the man responsible for their dry ships. Whether or not it's completely accurate, it's a compelling and entertaining piece of coffee folklore. During World War II, American soldiers contributed to the rise in the popularity of espresso in Italy and subsequently in the United States. As soldiers stationed in Italy developed a taste for the stronger, quicker brew, they brought their affinity for espresso back home. Post-war, the increasing presence of Italian immigrants in the United States, coupled with returning soldiers' demands for espresso, contributed significantly to the rise of espresso bars and the culture surrounding them. This marked the beginning of the Italian coffee shop wave that would later become a global phenomenon. The concept of fair trade coffee emerged as a response to exploitative practices in the coffee industry. In the 1980s, global coffee prices plummeted, leaving many coffee farmers in impoverished conditions. In response, organizations and cooperatives began to form, offering farmers a fair price for their coffee. This movement aimed to ensure better wages and living conditions for coffee farmers. Fair trade certification requires compliance with specific social, environmental, and economic standards. Today, fair trade coffee has grown into a significant part of the coffee market, giving consumers the option to support more ethical and sustainable practices. Contrary to popular belief, dark roast coffee is not stronger than light roast coffee in terms of caffeine content. In reality, light roast coffee often contains slightly more caffeine than dark roast coffee. This confusion arises because dark roast coffee has a stronger, bolder flavor, which many people equate with higher caffeine levels. When coffee beans are roasted longer, they lose more of their mass, including some of their caffeine content. Therefore, while dark roast might seem more intense due to its robust flavor profile, it generally has slightly less caffeine than its lighter counterpart. Instant coffee, despite being commonly associated with convenience and lesser quality, has an interesting history. It was first patented in 1881 by Alphonse Allais in France, and then significantly perfected by a Japanese scientist named Satoru Kato in the early 1900s. The method of freeze-drying coffee was later developed during World War II to provide American soldiers with coffee that was easy to transport and make in the battlefield. Many soldiers, having grown accustomed to its convenience and taste, continued to drink instant coffee upon returning home, thus securing its place in everyday life. Luwak coffee, also known as civet coffee, is one of the most expensive and unique coffees in the world. It is made using coffee beans that have been eaten and excreted by civet cats. The beans undergo fermentation as they pass through the digestive system of the animal, which is said to give the coffee a distinctive flavor profile. However, the production of Luwak coffee has come under heavy scrutiny due to ethical concerns. Many civet cats are kept in poor conditions, with some being force-fed coffee cherries. This has led to a call for more humane and sustainable practices in the production of this luxury coffee. The first coffee house in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, opened in 1554. These early establishments were more than just places to drink coffee. They quickly became cultural hubs where people gathered to read books, listen to music, and exchange ideas. Known as kave-khane, these coffee houses were also referred to as schools for the wise. The social aspect of coffee houses spread rapidly across the Ottoman Empire and later into Europe, giving rise to the modern cafe culture that we are familiar with today. These early coffee houses played a significant role in shaping public discourse and social interactions. The phrase bean belt refers to the region between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, where the majority of coffee is grown. This area includes countries in Central and South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. The specific climatic conditions in the bean belt are ideal for growing coffee plants. These regions provide the right balance of temperature, rainfall, and elevation. The coffee grown in different parts of the bean belt has distinct flavor profiles due to varying soils and climates. Understanding the geography of coffee production can enhance our appreciation of its diverse flavors and regional characteristics. Coffee has been linked to political activities and social movements throughout history. In the 1700s, coffee houses in London became known as penny universities because, for the price of a penny, one could gain access to intellectual discussions on various topics. These coffee houses were hotbeds of political discourse and played a role in the democratic process. For instance, the famous Lloyd's of London insurance market originated in Edward Lloyd's coffee house. Coffee houses provided ordinary citizens with an informal setting to discuss politics and business, contributing to the spread of new ideas and movements. Coffee's journey to Europe involved a fascinating interplay of trade and diplomacy. Venetian traders were among the first to bring coffee to Europe in the 17th century. At first, the clergy condemned coffee as the bitter invention of Satan, but this notion changed when Pope Clement VIII sampled it. Instead of denouncing the brew, he blessed it, declaring that coffee should be baptized to make it a truly Christian beverage. This papal approval helped legitimize coffee consumption among European Christians and paved the way for the establishment of coffee houses across the continent. The development of coffee culture in Japan is particularly intriguing. Coffee was introduced to Japan by Dutch traders in the 17th century, but it did not gain widespread popularity until the 20th century. In the 1920s, Japan experienced a surge in the number of kisaden, traditional Japanese coffee houses, which became popular spots for intellectuals and writers. After World War II, American influence introduced instant coffee to Japan and the coffee culture began to evolve. In the 21st century, Japan has embraced both traditional kisaten and modern coffee shops, creating a unique coffee culture that blends old and new elements. Espresso machines, which play a crucial role in coffee culture, were first invented in Italy in the early 20th century. The first machine was patented by Luigi Bezzera in 1901, and it was designed to speed up the coffee brewing process. Bezzera's machine used steam pressure to force water through the coffee grounds, producing a quick, concentrated shot of coffee. Although it was a remarkable invention, early espresso machines were not without their flaws. They were known to be inconsistent and difficult to operate. Eventually, improvements and innovations led to the reliable espresso machines we use today. In Brazil, coffee was an integral part of its political and economic landscape from the early 1800s onward. At one point, it accounted for more than half of the country's total exports. The Brazilian coffee industry's growth had significant social implications, including the use of slave labor until slavery was abolished in 1888. After the abolition, the coffee industry continued to shape Brazil's economy and society, leading to industrialization and urbanization. Today, Brazil remains one of the largest coffee producers in the world, and coffee continues to be a significant part of its cultural and economic identity. Caffeine, the stimulant found in coffee, has interesting effects on the human brain. Once ingested, caffeine blocks the adenosine receptors in the brain. Adenosine is a neurotransmitter that promotes sleep and relaxation. By blocking these receptors, caffeine prevents the feeling of drowsiness, thus keeping us alert and awake. Moreover, caffeine increases the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, enhancing brain function, mood, and energy levels. These effects make caffeine a popular choice for those needing a mental or physical boost. However, excessive consumption can lead to adverse effects like insomnia, jitteriness, and increased heart rate. The history of decaffeinated coffee dates back to the early 20th century. The first successful method of decaffeination was developed by Ludwig Roselius, a German coffee merchant, in 1903. It is said that he discovered the process after a shipment of coffee beans became soaked in seawater during transit, which resulted in the removal of caffeine without affecting the flavor of the beans. Building on this accidental discovery, Roselius developed a commercial process for decaffeinating coffee beans using benzene, a solvent now known to be carcinogenic. Modern decaffeination methods are safer and more effective, using water, carbon dioxide, or organic solvents. The flat white, a popular coffee drink that originated in Australia and New Zealand, made its way into global coffee culture in the late 20th century. A flat white is similar to a latte but has a higher proportion of coffee to milk, resulting in a stronger coffee flavor. It also has a velvety texture created by microfoam, which is steamed milk with very fine, smooth bubbles. The flat white has become a favorite among coffee aficionados and is now featured in cafes worldwide, including major chains like Starbucks. Its rise highlights the global exchange of coffee traditions and innovations. The Canary Islands played a surprising role in the spread of coffee cultivation. In the 1700s, the French obtained coffee plants from the Dutch and sent them to their colonies on Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean and Martinique in the Caribbean. Through these efforts, coffee cultivation spread to various parts of the world. However, a less commonly known part of this history is that the Canary Islands served as a critical stopover point for these plants. The islands provided a suitable environment for the plants to acclimate, thus ensuring their successful transplantation to new territories. One interesting coffee brewing method is the siphon or vacuum pot, which offers both a unique brewing process and a theatrical presentation. Invented in the 1830s by Loaf of Berlin, the siphon method uses two chambers and relies on a vacuum effect to brew coffee. Water in the lower chamber is heated, creating vapor pressure that forces the water to rise into the upper chamber, where it mixes with the coffee grounds. After the heat source is removed, the brewed coffee filters back down to the lower chamber, leaving the grounds behind. This method provides a clean, flavorful cup and has regained popularity in specialty coffee circles. Arabica and Robusta are the two main species of coffee plants, each with distinct characteristics. Arabica coffee, known for its smooth, mild flavor and complex aroma, makes up about 70% of the world's coffee production. It is primarily grown at higher altitudes and requires specific climatic conditions to thrive. Robusta coffee, on the other hand, is hardier and more resistant to pests and diseases. It has a stronger, more bitter flavor and higher caffeine content than Arabica coffee. Robusta is often used in espresso blends and instant coffee. Understanding these differences can enhance our appreciation of coffee's diverse flavors. In Sweden, coffee is integral to a social ritual known as fika. Fika is more than just a coffee break. It is a cultural institution that involves taking time to pause and enjoy coffee along with pastries or snacks, often in the company of others. It is a moment to relax, socialize, and recharge during the day. Fika can happen at any time, and it is common in workplaces, homes, and cafes across Sweden. The practice of fika highlights the importance of coffee not just as a beverage, but as a means of fostering social connections and enhancing well-being. The city of Seattle in the United States holds a special place in coffee culture worldwide, largely due to the presence of Starbucks. Starbucks opened its first store in 1971 in Pike Place Market, Seattle. Initially, it sold high-quality coffee beans, but later expanded into serving brewed coffee. As Starbucks grew, it played a significant role in popularizing espresso drinks and cafe culture across America and beyond. Today, Seattle remains a hub for independent coffee shops and a center for specialty coffee innovation, firmly establishing its reputation as a coffee city. Coffee has played a notable role in the military. During the American Civil War, coffee was a staple ration for Union soldiers, who often relied on it for both physical energy and emotional comfort. Soldiers would grind coffee beans with their rifles and brew the coffee over open fires. The importance of coffee in the military continued into the 20th century. During World War II, instant coffee became a crucial supply item provided to soldiers to help them stay alert in harsh conditions. This historical use of coffee underscores its significance as more than just a beverage. It has been a vital part of military life. It may come as a surprise that coffee plants produce a fruit known as a coffee cherry. The coffee cherry is a small red or purple fruit that contains the coffee beans. Each cherry typically has two seeds, which are the coffee beans we roast and brew. The coffee cherry itself has a sweet, fruity flavor and can be eaten or used to make products like coffee cherry tea, also known as cascara. In recent years, cascara has gained popularity as a caffeinated, tea-like beverage that offers a sustainable way to use more parts of the coffee plant. Costa Rica's coffee industry has a fascinating history. The country was one of the first in Central America to cultivate and export coffee, beginning in the early 19th century. By the mid-19th century, coffee had become Costa Rica's leading export, playing a critical role in its economic development. The government encouraged coffee cultivation by offering free land to coffee farmers, which led to the widespread growth of the industry. Costa Rica is known for its high-quality Arabica coffee, grown in rich volcanic soils at high altitudes. Today, the country remains a prominent coffee producer, with a strong emphasis on sustainability and quality. The Chemex, an iconic coffee brewing apparatus, was invented by Peter Schlumbohm in 1941. This pour-over device is made of glass and has an hourglass shape, with a wooden collar that acts as an insulator. The Chemex is renowned for its ability to produce a clean, flavorful cup of coffee by using thick paper filters that remove much of the coffee oils and sediment. It is often praised for its aesthetic design and is part of the permanent collection at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. The Chemex continues to be a favorite among specialty coffee enthusiasts. The connection between coffee and creativity is a well-documented phenomenon. Several famous writers, artists, and thinkers were known for their coffee habits. Honoré de Balzac, the renowned French novelist, reportedly drank as many as 50 cups of coffee a day to fuel his marathon writing sessions. Ludwig van Beethoven was also a coffee enthusiast, insisting on preparing his coffee with exactly 60 beans per cup. These examples illustrate coffee's long-standing association with creative endeavors. The stimulant effects of caffeine can enhance focus and concentration, making it a popular choice among those engaged in artistic and intellectual pursuits. Vietnam is one of the largest coffee producers in the world, second only to Brazil. The country's coffee industry began during French colonial rule in the late 19th century, when the French introduced coffee plants to the region. Today, Vietnam is known for its Robusta coffee, which boasts a strong, bold flavor and high caffeine content. Vietnamese coffee culture features unique preparation methods, such as brewing with a fin filter and combining coffee with sweetened condensed milk to create sirop et soda da, or iced milk coffee. This distinctive style has gained international popularity and contributes to the global appreciation of Vietnamese coffee traditions. The health benefits and risks of coffee consumption have been the subject of extensive scientific research. Studies have shown that moderate coffee consumption can offer various health benefits, including a reduced risk of certain chronic diseases like Parkinson's disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. Coffee is also rich in antioxidants, which help combat oxidative stress in the body. However, excessive coffee consumption can lead to negative effects such as anxiety, digestive issues, and disrupted sleep patterns. The impact of coffee on health can vary from person to person, making it important to consume it in moderation and pay attention to individual responses. Coffee's impact on the environment is a growing concern. Traditional coffee farming practices can have detrimental effects, such as deforestation, soil degradation, and loss of biodiversity. Many coffee farms are converting forests into plantations, leading to habitat destruction. However, there is a movement towards more sustainable practices, such as shade-grown coffee, which involves growing coffee plants under the canopy of native trees. This method not only produces high-quality coffee, but also preserves biodiversity and reduces the need for chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Shade-grown coffee supports environmental conservation efforts and provides a habitat for various wildlife species, making it a more eco-friendly choice. Many people are unaware that coffee has a finite shelf life, and its freshness significantly affects its flavor. Coffee beans begin to lose their freshness shortly after being roasted. The optimal window for brewing coffee to attain its best flavor is within 2 weeks to 1 month after roasting. Coffee should be stored in an airtight container in a cool, dark place to preserve its freshness. Exposure to air, moisture, heat, and light can cause coffee to become stale more quickly. Grinding coffee just before brewing also helps in retaining its flavor, as ground coffee loses freshness faster than whole beans. In the 1850s, coffee played a notable role in the gold rushes in the United States and Australia. Prospectors in search of gold needed portable and energizing sustenance during their arduous journeys and labor-intensive work. Coffee provided a much-needed boost in these challenging conditions. During the California Gold Rush, coffee was often consumed with sugar and sometimes with hardtack, a type of dry biscuit. This combination offered miners a source of energy and comfort. The demand for coffee in remote gold mining areas contributed to the establishment of supply networks and laid the groundwork for coffee culture in these regions. In 2023, specialty coffee shops and third-wave coffee movements have reshaped how we understand and experience coffee. Third-wave coffee movements emphasize high-quality, single-origin coffee beans and artisanal brewing methods. These movements advocate for a deeper appreciation of the coffee-making process, from bean to cup, Baristas in third-wave coffee shops often focus on precision and detail, including factors like water quality, grind size, and brewing time. This approach has given rise to various brewing methods, such as pour-over, AeroPress, and siphon, allowing consumers to explore new flavors and profiles in their coffee. Was accidentally discovered by an Ethiopian goat herder named Kaldi around 900 AD. Kaldi noticed his goats became particularly energetic after eating red berries from a certain tree. Curious, he tried the berries himself and experienced a similar burst of energy. His discovery made its way to a local monastery where monks used the berries to create a drink to keep them awake during long hours of prayer. The world's most expensive coffee comes from the droppings of a civet cat. This coffee is called Kopi Luwak and originates from Indonesia. The civet cats eat coffee cherries and then digest the fruit, leaving the beans relatively intact. The beans are collected from their feces, cleaned, roasted, and brewed. The unique fermentation process that occurs in the digestive tract of the civet cat gives this coffee its distinctive and sought-after flavor, which is why it's sold for hundreds of dollars per pound. The Boston Tea Party significantly boosted coffee's popularity in America in 1773. American colonists protested against British tea taxes by dumping tea into Boston Harbor. This led to a patriotic shift away from tea and towards coffee. Coffee quickly became a symbol of the fight for freedom. Thomas Jefferson even called coffee the favorite drink of the civilized world, making it clear how intertwined coffee was with American identity. The process of decaffeination was first discovered by Ludwig Roselius in 1905, after a shipment of coffee beans was soaked in seawater during transit. Upon discovering that the beans had lost most of their caffeine while retaining their flavor, he experimented further. Eventually, he developed a method using benzene to extract caffeine, creating the first commercially available decaf coffee. Modern methods have since improved on his initial discovery, using safer solvents like water or carbon dioxide. Brazil, the largest coffee producer in the world, owes its coffee industry to a bit of romantic trickery. In 1727, Lieutenant Colonel Francisco de Melo Pauleta was sent to French Guiana to acquire coffee seeds, but the French government refused. Pauleta charmed the governor's wife, and before he left, she secretly gave him a bouquet spiked with coffee seeds. These seeds were the beginning of Brazil's coffee empire, which has shaped the global coffee trade for centuries. Americans consume 400 million cups of coffee per day, making the United States one of the largest coffee-consuming nations. Starbucks, which started as a single store in Seattle in 1971, has played a significant role in cultivating America's coffee culture. With thousands of locations worldwide today, Starbucks offers a variety of drinks, including the ever-popular pumpkin spice latte, which has amassed a nearly cult-like following every autumn. The word coffee comes from the Arabic word kawa, which originally referred to wine. When coffee became accepted as a substitute for alcohol among Muslims, the term was adopted. Coffee houses called Kahve Khane began to open in cities across the Arab world, serving as places of social interaction, artistic performance, and political discussion. These coffee houses were instrumental in spreading coffee culture far and wide, even reaching Europe by the 17th century. Vietnam is the second largest coffee producer in the world, specializing in Robusta coffee, which is known for its strong flavor and higher caffeine content compared to the more mild Arabica. The country began cultivating coffee in the mid-19th century under French colonial rule. Today, Vietnamese coffee culture is unique, featuring beverages like Sa Phê Suada, a popular iced coffee drink made with strong drip coffee and sweetened condensed milk. The vivid flavors and distinct preparation methods make it a staple in Vietnamese daily life. The term espresso means pressed out in Italian and refers to the method of forcing hot water through finely ground coffee at high pressure. This brewing technique was developed by Luigi Bezzera in 1901 and further perfected by Achille Gaggia in 1938. Espresso serves as a base for many popular coffee drinks such as lattes, cappuccinos, and macchiatos. The rich, concentrated flavor and crema make it distinct and beloved by coffee enthusiasts around the globe. Coffee played a significant role in the Age of Enlightenment in Europe in the 1700s. Coffee houses, often referred to as penny universities, sprang up across the continent. These establishments offered coffee for just a penny and quickly became hubs of intellectual exchange. Influential figures like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Benjamin Franklin frequented these coffee houses, engaging in discussions that shaped modern philosophy, science, and politics. The stimulating effects of coffee were thought to inspire clarity of thought and lively debate. Research suggests that drinking coffee may have numerous health benefits, including a reduced risk of chronic diseases such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and certain types of cancer. Coffee is rich in antioxidants, which help neutralize harmful free radicals in the body. Studies published in journals like the New England Journal of Medicine and Circulation have indicated that regular coffee consumption is associated with a lower risk of mortality. However, moderation is key, as excessive consumption can lead to negative health effects. The coffee plant, kaffa, is native to tropical Africa and some islands in southern Asia. There are over 100 species of coffee plants, but the two most commercially important ones are Kaffa arabica and Kaffa canephora, commonly known as Robusta. Arabica is prized for its sweeter, softer taste with tones of sugar, fruit, and berries, making up about 70% of the world's coffee production. Robusta, known for its stronger, harsher taste and higher caffeine content, is more resistant to diseases and pests. In Italy, there is a tradition known as caffè sospeso, which translates to suspended coffee. This custom originated in Naples and involves customers paying for an extra cup of coffee in advance for someone in need. The concept allows someone who cannot afford a cup of coffee to walk into a cafe and ask if there is a caffè sospeso available. This act of kindness fosters a sense of community and social solidarity. Though less common today, the tradition continues in some places and has even spread to other countries. Many coffee drinkers might be surprised to learn that their cup of coffee contains many more ingredients than just coffee and water. Over 800 compounds contribute to the flavor and aroma of coffee. When coffee beans are roasted, they undergo a complex series of chemical reactions known as the Maillard reaction, which creates new flavors and aromas. This is why coffee can taste chocolatey, nutty, fruity, or even floral. The precise balance of these compounds depends on the origin of the beans, the roast level, and the brewing method. Coffee is one of the most chemically treated crops in the world, with conventional coffee farming relying heavily on synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. These chemicals can harm the environment and pose health risks to farm workers. However, the demand for organic coffee has been steadily rising. Organic coffee is grown without synthetic chemicals, using methods that promote biodiversity and soil health. The certification process for organic coffee is rigorous, but the end result is a more environmentally friendly and potentially healthier product. During World War II, American soldiers were provided with instant coffee in their rations, which played a crucial role in popularizing coffee across the United States. Brands like Maxwell House and Nescafé became household names as a result of their military service. Instant coffee became the convenient choice for post-war America's booming population. The technology behind instant coffee, which involves brewing large quantities of coffee and then freeze-drying it, was perfected during this period, making it easy for soldiers to get a quick caffeine fix. Saint Drogo, a Flemish saint from the 12th century, is considered the patron saint of coffeehouse owners and coffee lovers. Drogo was known for his extreme asceticism and dedication to hard labor, and he reportedly survived solely on barley and water for extended periods. His connection to coffee isn't entirely clear, but he became associated with the beverage over time. Today, many coffee shops and coffee lovers look up to Saint Drogo, celebrating his feast day on April 16th as a sort of unofficial coffee holiday. Coffee has even found its way into space. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station drink specially designed coffee from pouches equipped with straws that work in zero gravity. Remarkably, in 2015, Italian astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti became the first person to brew an authentic espresso in space using a specially designed machine called the Espresso. This innovation allowed astronauts to enjoy a taste of home, demonstrating that the love for coffee transcends earthly boundaries and can adapt to the most extreme environments. The famous composer Johann Sebastian Bach was known to be an avid coffee drinker, so much so that he wrote a short comic opera about it titled The Coffee Cantata. First performed in the 1730s, the cantata is a humorous commentary on the coffee craze sweeping Europe at the time. It tells the story of a young woman addicted to coffee and her father's desperate attempts to cure her of the habit. The playful work highlights how coffee culture permeated society during Bach's lifetime, influencing both daily life and the arts. Coffee was once banned in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, in the early 16th century. Religious leaders considered the stimulating effect of coffee to be intoxicating, similar to alcohol, which is forbidden in Islam. In 1515, coffee houses and the sale of coffee were outlawed. However, the ban did not last long due to coffee's immense popularity and cultural significance. The ban was eventually lifted, and coffee continued to spread throughout the Islamic world and beyond, becoming an integral part of the global culinary landscape. The history of instant coffee dates back to the British chemist George Constant Washington, who invented the first mass-produced instant coffee in 1909. Washington's creation was inspired by observing dried coffee on the spout of a silver coffee pot. His product, called Ready Coffee, gained popularity during World War I, where it was included in soldiers' rations. Instant coffee revolutionized coffee consumption by providing a quick and convenient way to enjoy a hot cup of coffee without the need for brewing equipment. The cold brew coffee trend has ancient origins. In 16th century Japan, a Kyoto-style brewing method called Kyoto drip was developed, which involves slowly dripping cold water over coffee grounds for an extended period, sometimes up to 24 hours. This method produces a smooth, low-acid coffee concentrate that can be diluted with water or milk. The resurgence of cold brew in recent years is a modern adaptation of this time-honored technique, which has become a summer favorite around the world. Coffee originally arrived in Europe through the port of Venice in the early 1600s. Venetian merchants who traded extensively with Arab nations introduced the exotic beverage to Italian society. Initially met with suspicion and referred to as the bitter invention of Satan, coffee eventually won over Pope Clement VIII, who reportedly declared it a Christian beverage after tasting it. Venice soon became home to the first European coffee houses, paving the way for coffee's widespread acceptance and popularity throughout the continent. The single-cup coffee brewing system gained popularity with the invention of Keurig in the late 1990s. The system uses pre-packaged coffee pods known as K-cups, which contain a precisely measured amount of ground coffee sealed for freshness. This allows consumers to brew a single cup of coffee in less than a minute with minimal cleanup. Keurig, founded by John Sylvan and Peter Dragon, revolutionized the home coffee market, making it easy for people to enjoy a fresh cup of coffee without the hassle of traditional brewing methods. Historically, coffee was consumed with religious fervor by the Sufi monks of Yemen in the 15th century. The monks discovered that drinking coffee helped them stay awake and focused during their long nighttime prayers and meditation sessions. The practice spread from the Yemeni port city of Mocha to the rest of the Islamic world. Mocha became synonymous with coffee, and this ancient association continues today as the term mocha is used to refer to coffee, particularly the chocolate-flavored coffee beverages. In Sweden, drinking coffee was once considered a dangerous habit. In 1746, King Gustav III conducted an unusual experiment to prove its potential health risks. He ordered identical twin prisoners to drink coffee and tea respectively every day for the rest of their lives, while physicians monitored their health. Ironically, the physicians and the king died before the twins, who both lived long lives. The experiment failed to prove coffee's supposed dangers, and despite these efforts, coffee became incredibly popular in Sweden. Coffee's journey to India is credited to a Sufi saint named Baba Budan, who smuggled 7 coffee beans out of Yemen in the 17th century. At that time, exporting fertile coffee seeds was punishable by death, as Yemen held a monopoly on the coffee trade. Baba Budan brought the beans to the hills of Chikmagalur in southern India, where he planted them. Today, this region is one of India's major coffee-growing areas, and Baba Budan's legacy is celebrated for breaking Yemen's monopoly and introducing coffee cultivation to India. Turkish coffee, known for its strong, rich flavor and unfiltered preparation, has a history that dates back to the Ottoman Empire. The first coffee house in Istanbul, Kivahan, opened in 1555. Turkish coffee is made by finely grinding coffee beans and boiling them with water and sugar in a special pot called a sezva. The resulting brew is poured into small cups, grounds and all. It is customary to read one's fortune from the coffee grounds left at the bottom of the cup after drinking, a practice known as dasyography. The concept of fair trade coffee emerged in the late 20th century as a response to the exploitation of coffee farmers in developing countries. Fair trade certification guarantees that farmers receive a fair price for their coffee, enabling them to invest in their communities and practice sustainable farming. Organizations like Fair Trade USA and the Fair Trade Foundation work to ensure that coffee production adheres to ethical standards, benefiting both producers and consumers. Buying fair trade coffee helps to promote social justice and environmental stewardship in the coffee industry. The Coffee Belt refers to the region around the equator where coffee is grown, spanning over 70 countries between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. This region provides the ideal climate for coffee cultivation, with its combination of warm temperatures, ample rainfall, and rich, fertile soil. Notable coffee-producing countries within the Coffee Belt include Brazil, Colombia, Ethiopia, and Vietnam. The diverse geography and climate within this region contribute to the wide variety of coffee flavors and characteristics enjoyed by consumers worldwide. Drip coffee, one of the most common brewing methods, was revolutionized by the invention of the automatic drip coffee maker by Vincent Marotta and Samuel Glaser in 1972. They founded the company Mr. Coffee and introduced a machine that automated the process of heating water and pouring it over coffee grounds. This invention made it easy for households to brew coffee quickly and consistently. The Mr. Coffee brand became synonymous with drip coffee, transforming how Americans made and consumed coffee at home. Coffee has inspired a myriad of cultural rituals and traditions around the world. But in Eritrea, a small country in the Horn of Africa, the coffee ceremony is particularly significant. The ceremony involves roasting green coffee beans over an open flame, grinding them by hand using a mortar and pestle, and brewing the coffee in a special clay pot called a jabena. The process is lengthy, but it allows time for socializing and fostering a sense of community. Serving coffee is a gesture of hospitality and respect, reinforcing social bonds among friends and family. Coffee's stimulating properties were discovered by an Ethiopian goat herder named Kaldi in the 9th century. According to the legend, Kaldi noticed that his goats became unusually energetic after eating red berries from a certain shrub. Intrigued, he tried some of the berries himself and experienced the same burst of energy. He then brought the berries to a local monastery, where the monks discovered that roasting and brewing them produced a beverage that helped them stay alert during long prayer sessions. This discovery set the stage for coffee's journey across the world. The first coffee houses in the world appeared in Mecca in the 15th century and quickly became popular meeting places. These coffee houses, known as kave khane, provided a space for people to socialize, play games like chess, and discuss literature, politics, and other topics. They became so popular that they were referred to as schools of the wise, where intellectuals and thinkers could gather and exchange ideas. The impact of these early coffee houses can still be felt today, as they laid the foundation for modern cafes and the social culture surrounding coffee. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world, second only to oil. The global coffee industry employs millions of people, from farmers who cultivate the beans to baristas who serve the final product. The main coffee-producing countries are located in the Bean Belt, which stretches across the globe between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia are among the top producers, with Brazil alone accounting for approximately 1/3 of the world's coffee supply. This vast industry has a significant impact on the economies of these countries and the daily lives of countless individuals. There are two main types of coffee beans, Arabica and Robusta. Arabica beans are known for their smooth, complex flavors and are generally considered to be of higher quality. They are grown at higher altitudes and cooler climates, making them more susceptible to pests and diseases. Robusta beans, on the other hand, have a stronger, more bitter taste and contain more caffeine. They are hardier and can grow at lower altitudes and in hotter climates. The differences between these two types of beans lead to a wide variety of flavors and profiles in the coffee we drink. The process of roasting coffee beans significantly affects their flavor. There are three main roast levels: light, medium, and dark. Light roasts retain more of the bean's original flavors and characteristics, often resulting in brighter, more acidic notes. Medium roasts offer a balance between the bean's inherent flavors and the flavors developed during the roasting process, leading to a well-rounded taste. Dark roasts have a more robust, smoky flavor due to the longer roasting time, which often masks some of the bean's original characteristics. The choice of roast level depends on personal preference and can greatly influence the final taste of the coffee. Espresso, often associated with Italy, is a coffee-making method that involves forcing hot water through finely ground coffee beans at high pressure. The result is a concentrated, flavorful shot of coffee with a layer of crema on top. It is the foundation for many popular coffee drinks, such as cappuccinos, lattes, and americanos. Interestingly, the term espresso does not refer to the type of beans or roast, but rather the brewing method itself. This versatile and quick method of brewing coffee has become a staple in coffee culture around the world. The origin of the word coffee can be traced back to multiple languages. It is believed to have originated from the Arabic word kahwa, which referred to a type of wine. As the beverage spread to Turkey, it became known as kahve. When coffee made its way to Europe, the name evolved into café in French and coffee in English. The etymology of the word highlights the long journey and cultural significance of coffee as it traveled from its origins in Ethiopia to become a global phenomenon. Decaffeinated coffee was first developed in the early 20th century by German coffee merchant Ludwig Roselius. Legend has it that a shipment of coffee beans was accidentally soaked in seawater during transit, which led Roselius to discover that the beans had lost much of their caffeine content while retaining their flavor. He then refined the process, using solvents to remove caffeine from the beans. Today, there are several methods for decaffeinating coffee, including the Swiss water process and the use of carbon dioxide. Decaf coffee offers an option for those who want to enjoy the taste of coffee without the stimulating effects of caffeine. Coffee played a significant role during the American Revolution. After the Boston Tea Party in 1773, when American colonists protested British taxation by dumping tea into Boston Harbor, coffee's popularity surged as a patriotic alternative to tea. Drinking coffee became a symbol of resistance against British rule. During the Civil War, coffee was a vital part of a soldier's rations, supplying much-needed energy and morale. Coffee's role in American history underscores its cultural importance and its connection to significant events and social movements. The coffee break is a uniquely American tradition that dates back to the early 20th century. The concept gained popularity during World War II when companies like Loft Candy Company implemented scheduled breaks to boost employee productivity and morale. The idea was further popularized by a Pan-American Coffee Bureau ad campaign in 1952, which encouraged people to take a coffee break, enjoy a relaxing moment with a cup of coffee. Today, coffee breaks are a common practice in workplaces around the world, highlighting the beverage's role in daily routines and social interactions. Coffee plants produce cherries, which contain the coffee beans we use to make our beloved drink. Each cherry typically contains 2 coffee beans, although some cherries have only 1 bean, known as a pea berry. The cherries go through several stages of processing, including cleaning, drying, and milling, to extract the beans. The 2 primary processing methods are washed and natural. The wash process involves removing the cherry's pulp before drying the beans, resulting in a cleaner, brighter flavor. The natural process involves drying the whole cherry, which imparts a fruity, complex flavor to the beans. Coffee is believed to have a wide range of health benefits. Studies suggest that moderate coffee consumption can reduce the risk of certain diseases such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and type 2 diabetes. The antioxidants in coffee, particularly chlorogenic acid and other beneficial compounds, may protect against cellular damage and inflammation. Additionally, coffee has been linked to improved cognitive function, increased metabolism, and enhanced physical performance. However, it is essential to remember that excessive coffee consumption can lead to negative side effects, such as insomnia, increased heart rate, and digestive issues. The world's most expensive coffee, known as Kopi Luwak, is produced through an unusual process involving the Asian palm civet, a small mammal found in Southeast Asia. The civet consumes coffee cherries, and the beans pass through its digestive system, undergoing fermentation along the way. The beans are then collected from the animal's feces, cleaned and roasted. This unique process imparts a distinct, smooth flavor to the coffee. Despite its high price and exotic appeal, Kopi Luwak has garnered controversy due to concerns about animal cruelty and the ethical treatment of civets in some production facilities. The rise of specialty coffee has transformed the coffee industry and consumer preferences. Specialty coffee focuses on high-quality beans, precise brewing techniques, and a deeper appreciation for the various flavors and characteristics of coffee. This movement has given rise to third-wave coffee culture, which emphasizes transparency, sustainability, and direct trade relationships between farmers and roasters. The specialty coffee scene has also led to the popularity of various brewing methods, such as pour-over, AeroPress, and siphon, allowing coffee enthusiasts to explore and experiment with different techniques and flavors. Baristas, the skilled professionals who prepare and serve coffee, play a crucial role in the coffee industry. The term barista originated in Italy and refers to a person who works behind the counter and serves beverages, including coffee and espresso-based drinks. Baristas often undergo extensive training to master the art of brewing and presentation, learning about grind size, water temperature, extraction techniques, and milk frothing. Many baristas also participate in competitions like the World Barista Championship, which showcase their skills and creativity, further elevating the craft of coffee preparation and appreciation. The concept of coffee blends involves combining beans from different regions or countries to create a unique flavor profile. Blending allows roasters to balance the distinct characteristics of various beans, such as acidity, body, and aroma, to craft a harmonious and consistent product. Some popular blends include breakfast blends, which are typically light and bright, and espresso blends, which often consist of beans that produce a rich, full-bodied shot. While single-origin coffees highlight the specific flavors of a particular region, blends offer a versatile and customizable approach to coffee enjoyment. The famous composer Johann Sebastian Bach was a coffee enthusiast and even composed a piece of music dedicated to the beverage. The Coffee Cantata, written in the 18th century, is a humorous mini-opera that tells the story of a young woman named Lieschen who is addicted to coffee. Her father tries to break her habit by threatening to withhold her dowry, but Lieschen ultimately prevails, vowing to continue drinking coffee. The Coffee Cantata showcases Bach's appreciation for the beverage and provides a glimpse into the coffee culture of his time. One of the most significant events in coffee history is the invention of instant coffee. In 1938, Nestlé introduced Nescafé, the first commercially successful instant coffee. This innovation was developed in response to a surplus of coffee beans in Brazil and the need for a convenient, easily prepared beverage. Instant coffee revolutionized the coffee industry, making it accessible to a broader audience and changing the way people consumed coffee. While instant coffee may not have the same complex flavors as freshly brewed coffee, its convenience and long shelf life have ensured its lasting popularity. Cold brew coffee has gained immense popularity in recent years for its smooth, less acidic taste. The process involves steeping coarsely ground coffee beans in cold water for an extended period, typically 12 to 24 hours. This slow extraction method results in a coffee concentrate that can be diluted with water or milk and served over ice. Cold brew's unique flavor profile and refreshing nature make it a favorite during hot weather. Additionally, the lower acidity of cold brew is often easier on the stomach, making it a suitable option for those with sensitivity to acidic beverages. The role of women in the coffee industry has evolved significantly over the years. Historically, women have been involved in coffee cultivation and production, particularly in roles such as picking and processing beans. However, their contributions often went unrecognized, and they face significant barriers to ownership and leadership positions. In recent years, various initiatives and organizations have emerged to support and empower women in the coffee industry, promoting gender equality and providing opportunities for education, training, and business development. As a result, women are increasingly taking on leadership roles as farmers, roasters, and entrepreneurs, shaping the future of coffee. Coffee has a fascinating relationship with art and creativity. Many famous writers, musicians, and artists have been known to enjoy coffee, often attributing their inspiration and productivity to the beverage. For example, French philosopher Voltaire reportedly drank up to 50 cups of coffee a day while working on his writings. The iconic Café de Flore in Paris was a popular meeting place for renowned intellectuals and artists such as Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, and Pablo Picasso. Coffee's stimulating effects and the social environment of cafes have long been linked to the creative process and artistic expression. In some cultures, coffee ceremonies hold significant social and cultural importance. One of the most well-known is the Ethiopian coffee ceremony, which involves a lengthy and elaborate process of roasting, grinding, and brewing coffee. This ceremony typically takes place in a communal setting, with participants gathering to share the freshly brewed coffee and engage in conversation. It is a symbol of hospitality, friendship, and respect, often marking special occasions or important social gatherings. The Ethiopian coffee ceremony highlights the deep-rooted cultural connections and traditions that coffee fosters in various societies. Coffee has even made its way into space. In 2015, Italian astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti enjoyed the first espresso brewed in space aboard the International Space Station. The espresso machine, called Espresso, was developed by the Italian Space Agency, Argotec, and Lavazza to provide astronauts with a taste of home and boost morale during their missions. The machine had to be specially designed to operate in microgravity, ensuring safe and consistent brewing. This milestone highlights the lengths to which people will go to enjoy their favorite beverage, even in the most extreme environments. The relationship between coffee and technology extends beyond space exploration. In recent years, advancements in technology have transformed the way coffee is grown, processed, and consumed. For example, precision agriculture techniques such as satellite imaging and data analytics help coffee farmers optimize their crop yields and reduce environmental impact. Additionally, innovative brewing devices and methods, such as smart coffee makers and app-connected espresso machines, allow consumers to customize their coffee experience with precision and convenience. This integration of technology and coffee continues to shape the future of the industry and enhance the coffee drinking experience. Coffee's influence on language is evident in the widespread use of coffee-related terms and expressions. For example, the term Java is often used as a slang word for coffee, originating from the Indonesian island of Java, significant coffee-producing region. Similarly, the term Joe is a casual synonym for coffee, though its exact origin is unclear. Phrases like a cup of Joe and coffee break have become ingrained in everyday language, reflecting coffee's pervasive presence in our lives. These terms and expressions highlight the cultural significance of coffee and its impact on communication. Coffee's environmental impact is an important consideration for the industry and consumers alike. Coffee cultivation often requires significant amounts of water, land, and labor, which can lead to deforestation, habitat loss, and other environmental issues. To address these concerns, various initiatives and certifications such as Rainforest Alliance and Fair Trade promote sustainable and ethical practices in coffee production. These programs encourage farmers to adopt environmentally friendly methods such as shade-grown coffee and organic farming, while ensuring fair wages and improved working conditions. By supporting sustainable coffee, consumers can help mitigate the environmental impact of their favorite beverage. Coffee has played a role in diplomacy and international relations throughout history. One notable example is the Vienna coffeehouse culture, which emerged after the Battle of Vienna in 1683. Following the defeat of the Ottoman Empire, the victorious European forces discovered bags of coffee beans left behind by the retreating Ottoman army. Franz Georg Kolschitsky, a Polish Habsburg nobleman, is credited with opening one of the first coffee houses in Vienna, introducing the beverage to the city's residents. These coffee houses became important social and cultural hubs, influencing European politics, art, and intellectual life. The chemistry of coffee is complex and fascinating. Coffee contains over 1,000 compounds that contribute to its aroma and flavor, including caffeine, chlorogenic acids, lipids, and volatile organic compounds. The Maillard reaction, a chemical reaction between amino acids and sugars that occurs during roasting, plays a crucial role in developing coffee's rich, complex flavors. The process of brewing coffee also involves numerous chemical interactions, such as the extraction of soluble compounds and the formation of emulsions. Understanding the chemistry of coffee can help enthusiasts appreciate the intricate processes that contribute to their favorite beverage's unique taste and aroma. Coffee has inspired a wide range of innovative products and trends. One example is the popularity of coffee-infused foods and beverages, such as coffee-flavored ice cream, chocolate, and cocktails. Another trend is the rise of coffee subscriptions and delivery services, which offer consumers the convenience of having freshly roasted beans delivered to their doorstep regularly. Additionally, coffee tourism has become a popular activity, with enthusiasts traveling to coffee-producing regions to explore farms, learn about cultivation and processing, and sample local brews. These innovations and trends demonstrate the ongoing creativity and passion that coffee inspires in people around the world. Coffee was discovered in Ethiopia in the 9th century when a goat herder named Kaldi noticed his goats behaving energetically after eating red berries from a certain tree. He tried the berries himself and felt an unusual burst of energy. He shared his discovery with a local monastery where monks tried the berries and found they could stay awake longer for prayers. This serendipitous discovery eventually spread to other regions, making coffee a popular beverage across the world. In the 16th century, coffee arrived in the Middle East, where it became an integral part of social life in places like Turkey, Persia, and Egypt. Coffee houses, known as kahvekhane, started appearing. These were not just places to drink coffee, but also venues for social interaction, where people discussed politics, listened to music, and even played chess. The cultural significance of these coffee houses generated both admiration and criticism, with some authorities even trying to ban them. One of the perhaps lesser-known facts about coffee is its complex chemistry. Coffee contains over 800 different volatile compounds that contribute to its aroma and flavor profile. This complexity is also why coffee professionals spend years becoming proficient in identifying subtle differences between various types of coffee beans. These experts, known as Q-graders, undergo rigorous training and assessments to evaluate beans based on attributes like fragrance, acidity, and body. Their skills are essential for maintaining quality control in the coffee industry. The process of making a cup of coffee involves numerous variables, from the grind size to the brewing method. For instance, espresso requires finely ground coffee and is made by forcing hot water through the coffee grounds at high pressure. In comparison, a French press uses a coarse grind and relies on steeping the coffee in hot water before pressing down a plunger. The grind size, brew time, and water temperature all influence the final taste, making each method unique. Coffee is also known for its numerous health benefits, particularly its high concentration of antioxidants. These antioxidants help fight inflammation and protect cells from damage caused by free radicals. Studies have also shown that moderate coffee consumption may lower the risk of several health conditions, including Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and even certain types of cancer. However, it's essential to note that these benefits come from moderate consumption, as excessive intake can lead to negative side effects like anxiety and insomnia. Did you know that coffee has historically had an economic impact so significant that it could influence national economies? For example, Brazil is the largest producer of coffee globally, and its coffee industry has played a critical role in shaping its economy. At various times in history, fluctuations in coffee prices have affected the country's economic stability. The importance of coffee to Brazil's economy was so significant that the government once created a system to regulate coffee production and price stabilization, known as the Brazilian Coffee Institute. In the World War II era, instant coffee became a staple for soldiers due to its convenience and ease of preparation. Developed by Nestle, it was included in American military rations and allowed soldiers to have a little taste of home while deployed. The success of instant coffee in military applications led it to become very popular in civilian life post-war. Companies like Folgers and Maxwell House capitalized on this trend, making instant coffee a household staple during the mid-20th century. Contrary to popular belief, decaffeinated coffee does not mean caffeine-free. The decaffeination process removes most but not all of the caffeine from the coffee beans. Typically, a cup of decaf contains about 2 to 5 milligrams of caffeine, compared to a regular cup, which can have about 80 to 100 milligrams. Various methods are used to decaffeinate coffee, including the Swiss water process and the use of chemical solvents. These methods aim to preserve the bean's flavor while removing most of the caffeine. Coffee also has a fascinating connection to art. During the Renaissance in Venice, coffee was introduced through trade with the Ottoman Empire. Venice quickly adopted coffee, and it wasn't long before coffee houses sprang up around the city. These venues became popular gathering spots for artists, musicians, and intellectuals. The artistic and cultural discussions held in these coffee houses often spilled into the art world, influencing paintings, music, and literature. The environment of a coffee house thus became a nurturing ground for creative minds. The term coffee break has an interesting origin linked to American labor history. In the 1950s, the Pan American Coffee Bureau launched an ad campaign encouraging workers to take a coffee break during the workday. This campaign was so effective that it popularized the concept and made it a common practice across the United States. Today, many workplaces have institutionalized coffee breaks, recognizing the benefits of a short rest period to improve productivity and employee satisfaction. The relationship between coffee and technology is intriguing. In 1997, a group of researchers used a coffee pot to create what is considered the first webcam. This innovation originated at the University of Cambridge's Computer Science Department. Researchers aimed to remotely monitor the coffee pot to avoid wasted trips to an empty pot. This project, known as the Trojan Room Coffee Pot, represents an early instance of technological innovation driven by the desire to keep an eye on coffee. For those interested in exploring different coffee flavors, Single Origin Coffee offers a unique experience. Single Origin coffee comes from one specific region, country, or even a single farm. This contrasts with blends, which combine beans from different locations to achieve a balanced flavor. Single Origin coffees showcase the unique characteristics of their place of origin, such as the citrus notes from Ethiopian beans or the chocolate undertones from Colombian beans. These distinct flavors offer a richer and more diverse tasting experience. The concept of the third wave coffee movement marks a shift in how people appreciate coffee. This movement emphasizes the artisanal aspects of coffee production, viewing it similarly to how wine enthusiasts appreciate fine wines. Third wave coffee focuses on quality, sustainability, and the unique characteristics of each coffee bean. This movement contrasts with the first wave, characterized by widespread consumption of instant coffee, and the second wave, which saw the rise of specialty coffee shops like Starbucks. While coffee is now a global commodity, its journey from farm to cup involves a complex supply chain. Coffee beans are primarily grown in the Bean Belt, a region near the equator that includes countries like Brazil, Vietnam, and Ethiopia. Farmers grow and harvest the beans, which are then processed, roasted, and packaged. Each step in the supply chain impacts the final product's quality. The process requires a coordinated effort among growers, distributors, roasters, and retailers to deliver that perfect cup. One fascinating aspect of coffee history is its role in the Age of Enlightenment. European coffee houses in the 17th and 18th centuries were essential hubs for intellectual exchange. These coffee houses earned the nickname penny universities because for the price of a cup of coffee, patrons could participate in discussions on various topics, from science and philosophy to politics and economics. These venues fostered a culture of inquiry and debate, helping to disseminate new ideas across society. The economics of coffee can be quite volatile, influenced by factors like climate change, disease, and market demand. For example, a fungus known as coffee leaf rust has devastated coffee crops in Latin America, leading to significant economic losses. Climate change also poses a threat as coffee plants are sensitive to temperature and precipitation changes. To mitigate these challenges, scientists and growers are working on developing more resilient coffee plant varieties. By addressing these issues, they aim to ensure the long-term sustainability of the coffee industry. Coffee has even made its mark in political history. In the 1970s, Brazilian President Getúlio Vargas used coffee diplomacy to strengthen the country's international relations. During his administration, Brazil hosted the Inter-American Coffee Agreement, which sought to stabilize prices and promote cooperation among coffee-producing nations. This initiative was part of a broader strategy to enhance Brazil's influence and position within the global coffee market. Coffee diplomacy underscored the beverage's significance as a tool for fostering international collaboration. Japanese culture has embraced coffee in unique ways. While traditional tea ceremonies are well known, Japan also has a distinct coffee culture. The country is home to many specialty coffee shops that focus on meticulous brewing techniques, such as pour-over and siphon brewing. Japanese coffee aficionados value precision and attention to detail, often elevating coffee preparation to an art form. This approach has influenced coffee practices worldwide, inspiring others to adopt similar methods and appreciate coffee's finer nuances. Coffee has inspired some intriguing scientific research. In one notable example, researchers at the University of California, Davis established the Coffee Center, the first multidisciplinary research facility devoted to coffee science. The center aims to investigate various aspects of coffee, from genetics and cultivation